Hello everybody and welcome back to another Future Friday. My name is Liana and I am a junior mentor here at Success Beach. So this week I educated myself by watching some of the guest speakers from the 10X Growth Con that my dad went to this week, and the speakers that I listened to were Roddy Chong, Russell Brunson, and Grant Cardone. From Roddy Chong, if you don't know who he is a world-renowned violinist, and basically he told his story of how the short version is he was in a band and he was a violinist in a band, and he ended up losing that job because he wrote a letter talking about what he thought they should do differently in the company, but they ended up not liking that, so they fired him, and he got into a really bad depression and basically thought his life was pointless. And then he was sitting in his car one day and he heard a song by Celine Dion come on, and he just started bawling, and then he made a goal to himself and said that someday he's going to play that song on stage with Celine Dion. So eventually he was able to get himself out of his depression and work with a bunch of different musicians like Shania Twain and a bunch of other people, and he was at a big concert and Celine Dion was there, and he talked to her manager and was able to get himself a gig, and he was able to play the song that he promised himself he would play with Celine Dion. So that was really interesting to hear that story. The main thing I learned from him was that even when you're at your lowest point, it means that you might be right next to a breakthrough, so never give up because you never know what's going to happen next. I also got to listen to Grant Cardone talk about three main things. The three main things were the middle class, which is rich people who don't know that they're poor, and basically what that means is that they think they're rich and they think that they have everything they need, and they basically just have just enough, and they want just enough to pay the rent, just enough happiness, but really you want more than that. And so he explained how middle class people think that they're so rich, but then something will happen like a medical emergency and they'll realize that they don't have as much money as they thought they did. And the goal is to be able to donate to something and use the money you have and put a purpose to it without having to go check your bank account. Like, for example, there was a girl who was at the event who was paralyzed, and she was just 10 years old, and it was really sweet to see her go up, and she talked perfectly and she was amazing. Really big inspiration. And he said that she needs money so that she can get a wheelchair accessible car and a wheelchair accessible house, and her parents don't really have that much money, so they can't really pay for it. So she has a GoFundMe page, and within an hour she had $200,000 raised for her from all the people that were at the conference. And Grant Cardone immediately said, however much money is raised, I'll match it. And he was showing that you should be able to have enough money where you don't need to go check your bank account and say, do I have enough money to do this? You should just know that you have enough money to do something as amazing as that for other people. Another one of his points was the ideal scene, which basically is what you want the perfect image of what you want your life to be. And he told about how you can achieve it and how things can happen, but you won't let them affect what you want to happen. You will achieve the ideal scene. The last thing he talked about was about how numbers are just made up symbols, and how you shouldn't have a goal that is, I want to make $1 million this year, because that is limiting yourself, and a million ends in a zero. That's obviously not good. So you don't want to have a set number, because it's just a symbol. It doesn't mean anything. You should always just want to have more and not have a set number, because that'll limit you. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next week at another Future Friday. Like that.